Okay, so we are on to part 2 of how to hire a virtual assistant from the Philippines. So if you missed video 1, go back and search for it because we covered where to find a good job board and how to create your job description that's actually going to attract the right candidates and repel the wrong ones. So you'll want to go check that out. Okay, so now step 3. Screening and filtering. So I actually do this, a couple of ways. So the very first thing is we have our hidden instructions in our subject line. Then, in addition to that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to check, uh, you know, do they have the right qualifications? And did they, if I ask for a cover letter, did they take the time to send a cover letter? So once I do that and we have everybody filtered out who meets the requirements and follow the instructions, now I'm going to send them a video interview. And that is something that happens automatically. So it's a piece of software that we use that we send over to them. We use a company called interviewer.ai. And what it does is it has about 10 different questions based around that specific job. And it's also a behavioral interview. And so there are a couple of things that I'm checking. How good is their English? Because they actually have to get on video and answer the questions. B, I'm checking, are they a good fit for our team? So there's going to be some, behavioral questions in there, like, tell me about a time when you were asked to do something that was not in your job description. What happened and how did you handle it? Tell me about a time when something went absolutely horrible at work. What happened and how did you fix it? Tell me about a time that something went really, really incredible at work. What happened and how did you facilitate that win for your company? So we have skills, but we also have behavioral to see if they're going to be a fit. And when I am listening to those, I'm listening for red flags. And at this point, I actually have a team who listens to those for me, and they'll kind of say, "Oh, wait, Michelle, watch this video. This one's a little weird." But in the beginning, when it's just you, you're gonna be watching all those. And so I would limit them to, they have 60 seconds to 2 minutes to answer that, because I don't need to be spending hours just watching that, right? So, and this is really important. So because we already filtered by our orange cat in the subject line, we may have gotten, 100 applications and only 30 of them met the orange cat subject line. Of those 30, probably only 20 met the requirements as far as, do they have a college education and enough experience, or do they have a high enough English level, whatever it is. So we're sending this video interview to 20 people, roughly. Of those 20 people, 5 of them probably aren't going to do it because they don't want to be on camera, they're scared, whatever it is. And so we'll get 15. So I'm listening to 15 of those. At that point, I'm going to take my top 10 from those 15 candidates, because you're going to get a couple of, okay, well, that's a little weird. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually test their skills. So I use a piece of software called Test Gorilla. And I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Sorry, guys. So with Test Gorilla, I go through and I can actually pick tests that are, so yes, they said they can do it on their resume. Now let's make sure they actually can. So I'm going to sneeze again. Sorry. Okay, so from Test Gorilla, now we pick our skills test and make sure, yep, it's on the resume. Can they actually back it up? Now, these tests are killer hard. They're like master's level, graduate level tests. So for you to get back a 40 to a 60%, that's actually pretty good. I hired a guy, and I have no idea how to code in PHP. And we tested him and he got a 64%. And he is by far the best coder I've ever hired. And so don't be looking for an 80 to 90%. These tests are really hard and they're really hard on purpose. So if you're looking for between, 40 and 60%. Now, if you're testing their English level, that should be a little higher, right? So you're looking like 60 to 80. But the actual skills themselves, they're really hard. So just keep that in mind. So of those 10 people, again, you'll probably lose 3. And so 7 are actually going to take the test. And I think it costs me $4 or $5 per test. Best 40 to 50 bucks I'm ever going to spend, because now it's filtered out my candidates. I know they meet my qualifications. I know they pay attention to detail. I know they're a cultural fit for our company. I know they've got the skills to actually back it up. So from those 7 tests, I'm going to take my top 3 or 4 candidates. I'm going to actually set up a face-to-face interview on Zoom with them. And so during those interviews, I already know they've got the skills. I basically want to get in front of them and see, how are we going to get along? And you want to be able to see their facial expressions and their body language. And so I always do Zoom. I don't do audio only interviews. Because we're going to be working, closely. I need that kind of, uh, relationship with them, right? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. We need to build a relationship with them. And so, I need them to be able to get on camera and have a conversation with me. So then during these interviews, I'm going to ask, hey, how long have you been working remotely? What's your ideal work environment? Tell me about a time where you had an unreliable internet connection for the day. What did you do to fix that? Do you have a backup? What is your, internet speed? What is your computer speed? How is your written communication? Do you have anybody that you're responsible for taking care of while you're on the job working, such as a child or a parent? These are all super important questions that, we're going to get out of them. But then in addition to that, I'm starting to build a relationship. And then from those 3, I'm going to hire the best one. And then the other 2, I'm going to send them an email and I'm going to say, hey, you weren't our number 1 choice. We found somebody who was a little bit better fit, and we're going to give them a 30-day trial. If for some reason it doesn't work out, can I come back to you? So that we don't have to start the process all over again. Now, once we send the job offer and they've accepted it, now we start the real work of we've got to train them, right? We've got to get them, they're not going to hit the ground day 1 and just magically know what to do, right? We have to train them just like we would any other employee. And so if you're smart, you've already created some tutorial videos that they can create standard operating procedures. You've already created videos that tell them about your company, about what you're looking for and how to do each job. And so from that point, you're going to know in the first 2 weeks if it's going to work out or not. And there may be some, back and forth where, we need to tweak here or work here, but you're going to absolutely know in 2 weeks, like, yes, this is going to work out great, or no, this is a disaster. And then we'll go back to one of the other 2 candidates. This is a process I have used for 15 years and it works really, really well for us. It is a long process. And I am very slow to hire and quick to fire. So if I see any red flags in those first 2 weeks, that's it. You're gone. I'm going to find somebody else. But from that, we have built a killer team who is really, really amazing at what they do. And I also let them know, hey, this is a really great job. And it's going to be a lot of hoops to jump through to get this job, but you want this job because we're not going anywhere. We pay on time. We're a very good employer. And so hang with me and do this so that you can be a part of our team. So that is my start to finish, how to find and hire. And hopefully this is useful for you guys. Again, there'll be a link to online jobs in the comments. If you could use that link, we would be forever grateful. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them to me, Michelle at awesomeoutsourcing.com. And I will see you guys in the next video.